10:02, and we will go ahead and open the court at 10:02. I think just about everybody is here. I don't
see your father.
And I don't see Father Martin here. Rick, would you mind leading us in prayer today?
Shall we pray? Father, we thank you so much today for the privilege that we have to meet together and serve the citizens of Cooke County. We pray today, Lord, for your guidance and your leadership as we go through this meeting. We want to thank you for the first responders and all of the military and everybody who works hard to keep our country safe and free, and those who work to help us locally here. Pray that you'd bless them and help them to know how much they are appreciated. I pray today, Lord, that all of us would be found doing those things that are pleasing with you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. If you will, join me in our pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to these Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Welcome to court. Item number 5 is public comments on agenda items. Do you have anything? All right. Item number 5 is no action. Item number 6 is a very lengthy consent agenda. I trust everyone has had a chance to look through the consent.
I want to pull M just a minute,
M,
please.
did you say?
M is in Mary, yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Hollowell requests that we pull item M. Mike?
Anybody want to pull anything else? Let me see.
I move to approve the consent agenda less M.
Commissioner Arndt has made the motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item M.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. The consent agenda passes 5-0 with the exception of item M, which we'll now discuss.
The only reason I wanted to highlight M, that says or suggests that's County Road 165. That's not Precinct 1 Road, County Road 165. The state numbers their bridges differently than we do. It does say /Bonner Road, and that is because it is a bridge on Bonner Road, not County Road 165.
And I was going to pull it also, just to let people know that that road is, that bridge that's right outside of Gainesville city limits on that, in that bottom on County Road, Bonner Road, is going to be repaired or rebuilt this summer is the plan. So this is just the documentation that they're agreeing that we're going to go into it.
And your folks need to know they're liable to have to take a detour or something, and mine
Right.
needs to know they don't need to be prepared.
Right. Yeah, that's just their asset number on that bridge.
Their numbering scheme something, but it's
Right.
different from ours. I'd make a motion we approve.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Hollowell makes a motion that item M from that was pulled from the consent agenda be approved. Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item M passes 5-0. Brings us to item number 7, which is deliberate and consider possible action regarding allowing a peaceful protest to be held on the courthouse grounds on March 2nd, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Do we have somebody to speak to that? If you would, please come up to the mic and identify yourself, please.
I'm Nichelle Escobedo, and I would like to host a protest for the Latino and Hispanic community and the challenges that we face at the courthouse.
Let me ask you this, first of all. Were you told you had to come to the courthouse or to Commissioner's Court to get approval to protest?
Yes.
Okay. Did anybody give you any parameters of where you could or could not protest?
No.
Okay.
You're not wanting to place signs or anything of that nature, right? You're not-
No, we just want to stand with our flags and signs that we hold.
But you're gonna stay on the concrete surfaces,
Yeah, just like on the sidewalk.
sidewalks and stuff of that nature?
Not gonna be up on the steps and all that, right?
No.
See, I
Just
don't,
basically on the sidewalks.
Right.
Yeah.
see, I don't think we've ever actually required a permit. I mean, if you're gonna put up signs, yes, or somehow use the facility, yes. And I'm not opposed to it at all,
No.
okay? It's just not something we typically ask that you require permission for that I know.
Yeah, we have the rule where we, have to stay on the concrete, not trample the grass. But other
And the
than that-
signs on the yard, as mentioned previously. And as recent history has shown us, stay out of the street too, okay, if there's a protest. So if you stay on the sidewalks, I think you'll be okay.
Now, we've done some stuff differently, but usually it's coordinated through the city. When we've had rallies for the school and they're gonna close that street, now, that's been more of a coordinated effort and stuff. But just to come and be on the sidewalks, I don't think requires approval from us.
Did you check with the city?
No.
Yeah,
I was
they
just
don't
told to
have to.
come here.
Pardon?
I was just told to come here.
Who told you to come here?
I called you at first, and then you told me to get with your assistant, Chelsea Terry, I think. And she told me that she would put it on the agenda and
Okay.
for me to come.
That's
No.
fair enough.
You're-
That just
I mean,
keeps
they're
it
just
out in the
asking
open.
for
and-
permission, we're not giving a permit or nothing, it's
No, I
just.
mean, I
asking.
don't
right.
think there's,
I think it'd be no action on my part from it.
yeah, no action and
I just know when Rebecca Crockett comes to to ring the bells on our property, we have to give them the okay to do that. That's the only thing I saw.
Right.
Was
but
because
they ring
have
the
to
bell,
ask.
right, though, and they set it on the lawn or on the
I think
sidewalk.
it's on
Yeah.
the sidewalk or
Yeah,
something.
so, but,
Just one other thing, I asked you what the protest was about. We just want to make sure that it's in good taste, that there's nothing that people will object to in the community that's on any signs you might have or any, tell me again, what was your?
She's got freedom of speech, Judge.
Oh, I know that, but I'm saying,
It's just for against immigration and ICE
yeah.
and against racism.
It won't do their cause any good though
Negative.
if it got negative. So that's what I'm saying. Just use caution what you use on your signs for your own good, not that we have any control over it or anything like that. All right. So item number 7 then is no action. Go do your protest.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you for coming, though.
Just remember the cautions, though, if you would. Stay out of the street for your own good, once again, and off the yard, off the grass at the courthouse. So, thank you. Item number 8, is to deliberate and consider the possible action regarding the approval of a final plat for Elmview Estates, a 6-lot subdivision in Myra. Commissioner Matt Sicking.
I think we've got everything good to go. Do you have anything, Terrell, that you want to? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, Commissioner Sicking, a second, Commissioner Snuggs, to approve item number 8, excuse me. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none.
Thank y'all for your patience.
Thank y'all for working with us. We're learning.
Appreciate it.
So item number 8 passes 5-0. Item number 9, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the approval of the purchase of new phones from Nortex and authorize the trade-in of 55 phones from the Justice Center in the amount of $8,250. Would you please come to the mic and identify yourself, Darrell?
Yes, sir. Daryl Hober, IT Director. I think that this agenda item is mainly to get the contract in front of you so you can take a look at that. Shelley's office had been reviewing that, but I haven't heard from her as to whether there were any questions. Sharon, do you know anything about this? Okay. I've had several conversations with Nortex, and we're beginning the planning and working on figuring out how to set up all of our call flow. I have a whole document about 20 questions that I have to answer before we can, really get it rolling. But we're doing it right. We're planning ahead before we do.
This is what we talked about in last court. We need to do the trade-in, approve the trade-in, wasn't it? That's all we're doing.
I believe so.
Move to approve.
Motion, Commissioner Hollowell, to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 9 passes 5-0. Item number 10, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the request by EMS to retain an ambulance in order to have 3 backup ambulances.
Wes Reed, EMS Director. Due to basically a lag time in getting replacement ambulances, like the one we're getting this week was actually last year's ambulance. We're keeping some of our units a little bit longer than optimally, and we're running into times when we don't have a backup. We have ambulances broke down and go into the weekend with no backup. So by retaining a third one, that would hopefully help relieve this problem. As far as cost would be insurance and registration. We will have to buy some additional equipment to go on it. $4,543 of additional equipment to bring it up to par with the other ambulances. I'll also need to buy a radio for it. I have $14,007, I believe, coming in later this year in pass-through money that we were going to use to equip the ambulance and use that money so I didn't have to get into any budget items.
So you really don't need the 4,800. You're not looking for that. You've got a means to pay for that.
Yes, sir, I do.
You just want permission just to get the ambulance.
Just to retain it.
Retain it.
And with us moving back to the generator and system as opposed to the MEPS, we typically will pull our generators before trade-in and to keep them as backups, and that knocks the trade-in value down to $4,000 per ambulance. So that's not a lot of money for
No, I
that
would
vehicle.
keep it for that. Yeah, I make a motion, we allow him to retain this one as another spare.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, to to have the third backup ambulance. Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor? Any opposed? There are none. Item 10 passes 5-0.
Wes, did you say it decreased our trade-in by 4,000 or
No,
it decreased it to 4,000?
To 4,000.
Anything that you've got that's four-wheel drive that's decent before we trade it in for $4,000, I'd like to know about it, please.
Yes, sir.
All of us would.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm running some of those the old rescue truck, and it's a good vehicle for road and bridge. And for $4,000,
They'd definitely be suitable.
I'm sorry.
They'd definitely be suitable for some more use.
Oh, I've probably driven the old Rescue 5, I've probably had it 7 years, 8 years. So for $4,000, we don't need to let them.
You are expecting the new ambulance this week, though?
Scheduled Wednesday,
Awesome. It's a Ford, though, isn't it?
Dodge.
It is a Dodge, okay.
And it's
It was
still
a check.
gas, right? How's the gas diesel compared?
It's a diesel.
The Dodges are diesels.
Okay.
It's we purchased it from Polk over a year ago, and it's been sitting and we've been maintaining it until it was time to take it down there in November, I believe it was. And now we should be getting it on Wednesday, or that's when it's slated. Slated to do the virtual walkthrough tomorrow, and then be delivered on Wednesday.
So we've had the chassis for a year waiting on the box?
Yes, sir.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So where do y'all store these extra ones, Wes?
Pardon me?
Where do you keep the extra?
Our old station, we've got a number of, we got 4 bays over there, and we have a number of things already in there. I need to take some pictures of our old locker systems and get them auctioned off so we can clear up space, but there's room for this unit.
That's something, I mean, y'all go in there once a week, start them all, make sure everything's ready to go if you.
The other ones they go to once a week. Once we put an ambulance over there, that's going to be once every other day.
Okay.
With same checkouts that we do for a normal ambulance, because it has to be ready to go. I'll mention one thing, the only thing it won't have, and it'll be out of service until put into service, is it won't have a cot, because we don't have one compatible, because we're going to take the cot out of the current one and put it in the new ambulance. And I'll probably be looking to budget one for next year, but they're fairly expensive, so we can just swap out for now.
Yeah, and as soon as you get the funds available, you know the lead time for the radios are weeks. So as soon as you get the money available, you're going to want to do your PO and,
Okay, I'll do that.
yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Wes.
Next one's mine too.
Oh. All right then. Item number 11, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the request by Sacred Cross Ambulance. Say again?
Did we vote on that?
Yeah. we
All right.
voted. Sacred Cross Ambulance for a letter to allow them to do non-emergency transfers.
They've entered, Sacred Cross, it's been a pretty long, arduous thing, but they've finally entered into a contract with North Texas Medical Center to do their transfers. And since we've been the only game in town for years, they went around to some of the area nursing homes, and they were reluctant to give them any business. This letter just is saying that they're capable. It's not an endorsement, and it's completely up to the facility whether or not they choose to use them or not. It's just us saying that we're aware that they're here to do that.
Didn't we have an issue, maybe not with Sacred Heart, but with one of the previous providers? They ended up doing some transfers that actually cost us some money, did they not?
Don't know. The main problem we had with them was that they were doing emergency responses, and that's dangerous, and we just can't have them doing that. If they were to do that again, we'd have to address that.
Wasn't they doing some hospital-to-hospital transfers?
When they come from the NTMC or Munster, yes, they are hospital-to-hospital transfers.
Okay. But
what they're asking for, and they have a contract for that with NTMC. They were just hoping to do some of the transfers out of the nursing facilities in town.
And this letter says that we say they're capable. Is that not us saying they're qualified?
Just basically saying we know they're here and doing it.
I mean, but there's a difference in us saying we know they're here,
I'm gonna-
and there is saying that because we're saying they're qualified, and they're not, and I don't know whether they are or not, but
I'm going to say the state says they're qualified. I'm not going to qualify them myself, that's not my job. It's
the
the
state says they're qualified.
State says they're
Okay, yeah,
qualified to do
that's,
We're just giving them permission to be able to do non-emergencies.
non-emergency transfers, yes.
Who would this letter come from?
They didn't say, they don't really care. Most everything comes from you, so that's where I figured it'd come from.
and there's
I'd write it
probably
and
one
send
out
it to
there,
you.
Chelsea, that we've done before.
I've looked, I can't find anything on my computer. Do you have like an example, one I could write? Give me like details?
I can give you one, yeah, I can get you one.
Yeah,
I mean, I know we've had the services,
yeah.
but
We have.
at one point in time, we had 2 or 3 in addition to,
We had 2 or 3 at one time, but like everything else, I hope they make a good run of it because it's going to help reduce the call load on our system, but
will they go out
historically
there
they
and get
don't.
those and return them from the hospital back home
That's what they should be doing, yes,
instead of us?
instead of us, right?
They'll do their own billing and everything too, right?
Yes, that's,
Okay.
that can have nothing to do with us.
Okay. Not gonna step on your toes in any way. You're for this.
I don't have a problem with it as long as they don't venture into the emergency section of it.
Gotcha.
They can't, someone's having an emergency in a care facility, they don't need to wait for an ambulance. And as long as the care facilities identify that and call us when it's appropriate and call them when it's appropriate, then we're good.
Well, that can be specified in that letter, I would think.
I will.
Okay. All right then. Do I hear a motion on item number 12? I'm sorry, item number 11.
I make the motion, we let Sacred Cross do non-emergency transfers in Cooke County.
Okay, Commissioner Arndt has made the motion to allow Sacred Cross to do non-emergency transfers in Cooke County. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Item number 11 passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Item number 12, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the bill proposal from the North Texas Groundwater Conservation District. That was sent by Representative David Spiller, and I believe we have, if you would identify yourself at the podium and take off.
Okay. I'm Ronnie Young. I am the president of the North Texas Groundwater Conservation District currently. What this is about, we have had just a plethora of permits for wells to fill vanity ponds, drainage facilities type of thing. I think 18% of the permits that we've approved have been for those type of wells. Judiciously, we cannot tell anybody they cannot drill a well. We can tell them where they can drill a well and how deep, or the depths that they can drill a well, but we can't tell them they drill a well as long as, we cannot tell them they cannot drill a well as long as they own the property. So this is something that we just want this will give us some ability to work with these people to try to get them either to put smaller wells. First of all, the wells that they're coming to us with are capable of pumping at least 25,000 gallons a minute a day, of 25-gallon minutes. 25,000 gallons a day, 17.5 gallons a minute. And so if they're less than that, we really can't control them whatsoever. They're exempt to everything we do. If they're 17.5 gallons a minute or greater, then we charge them per 1,000 gallons. But the problem is they're putting these ponds in almost every new residential development, especially if you look in the first of all, we go over Denton, Collin, and Cooke counties. And so we're seeing a lot of this in the Denton and Collin area right now. The new subdivisions that they're just blowing up all the time. Almost every one of them, if you go in front of them, they have a pond with water spraying up in the air, which is evaporating water. And they have they're really shallow ponds, and so the water is just being wasted. And so that's why what we're trying to do is stop. So we've been seeing these for about the last 4 years. We've been giving out permits, and it's been getting worse because almost all those developments are doing this. So we asked if there was a way that we could maybe have some control over it. So this is what this bill is. It's an amendment to to the bill that enacted legislation that was done in 2009. And it's just an amendment to that legislation that says before granting or denying a permit, or a permit amended and issued in accordance with section 36.1146, the district shall consider whether the proposed use of water from the well is wholly or partly to provide water to a pond or lake or enhance the appearance of a landscape. It doesn't mean we will turn them all down, but it will mean that we will be able to go and look at each one of them and decide whether it's really needed. The law says a well can be used as long as it's for beneficial use, which is a very broad term, which nobody's really said what beneficial use is. So people use that to do wild things, I guess, what it amounts to. So this is what we're trying to do. So when for the Governor Spiller, or excuse me, for Representative Spiller to file this as a bill, he asked that we come to each of the commissioners' courts and kind of fill them in on what's going on, and hopefully get their blessings for each one of them before they file the bill. It'll be filed as a local bill towards the end of the session, so hopefully it gets done and gets put through. So if anybody has a question, I'll be glad to try to answer it.
Is there a way that we could put them in a different water zone that wouldn't be as, maybe I'm not saying a brackish zone, but not as good a water that they could do that?
So you have two train of thoughts as far as them doing it. They'll either use the cheapest way, which they'll get the water at the top, which affects, all that the district actually does is protects other wells. So if you have a well out there in the ground, we're protecting you from, that we know about, then we're going to be able to protect your water. So that's generally a residential, or on a farm type of thing. Those are generally shallow wells, and that's where these people want to go and put their wells in, get the water from the shell. So yeah, we do try to make them go deeper into a deeper zone to get the water. And in our case in Cooke County, there's like 8 to 10 zones open that have water that's usable. As you go south, it's a little deep, they get deeper, and they get a little bit less zones to open. But that is something we have been doing, but this just really, we don't have any teeth to what we're doing at this point. Because this is what's going to give us a little bit more. That'll be able to work with them.
But we know water's not only a precious commodity now, it's going to become more precious.
Yes, sir.
And where I can appreciate I guess these sprinklers when I drive by,
Yeah. Yeah.
This sounds like something we absolutely need to do. I mean, to me, it's almost a no-brainer.
It don't sound like there's enough teeth in it to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
We just keep seeing this, and it's just like I kept saying, every month we get 2 or 3, and we'll have 6 or 7 permits, and there'll be 2 or 3 of them for these type of permits.
Yeah.
And that's how we want to identify and get something stopped before it gets any worse than what it is. So
I'm going to move to approve.
I'm gonna second it.
We have a motion, Commissioner Hollowell, to approve item number 12, which is to support the bill or the proposal
For the
by
next North Texas.
Representative David Spiller to conserve our precious groundwater. We have a second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Yay.
So we have what? 4 to 1? Are you in opposition? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm against it.
Okay.
And the reason why I am is if we ever turn that into a pond that cattle can work, they can't do it. I mean, or wildlife or something like that. That's the only thing I'm looking
Wait a minute, say that again.
at. Well, if we're going to drill it and they had some wildlife or cattle or something there, now we're saying that they can't do that.
doesn't this cover?
Yeah, I mean, that's not, would never come to that, but it's something that these people are putting these things in front of their subdivisions.
Well, what I'm
That's what
saying-
we're talking about. I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. That's always, I mean, people change their minds, what they're using things about, but we're basically just trying to stop the wasteful stuff.
Wells
that's
down there
shallow.
on Fisher Ranch that have 8-inch pipes coming out that pump thousands of gallons a minute,
Yep.
just to keep the lakes full.
Yeah.
That's, and I was gonna ask you, is this gonna, like when the oil field was up here drilling all that, I mean, hell, they drilled, I don't know how many big water wells, just such a
Frack.
pump.
Mhm, Yep.
Is that gonna,
Doesn't fall under y'all's purview.
Doesn't, no. Of course, the Railroad Commission kind of keeps us all out of that. I
And
mean,
that's what's crazy. Just-
they don't give us any say-so at all about that, so. We do give our opinion at times when we're asked, but I think it kind of falls on deaf ears. I mean, because we're trying to do what's to save the water that's there to be used for drinking water or home purposes, whatever. And I mean, we don't have problems. Some people are irrigating out of them. That's one thing. But when they're just putting them in there, just flowing the water up in there, just something pretty to look by when you drive by, that's what we're trying to slow down. And that's all we will actually
So
impel.
what about if they have a golf course and they're using it to water their golf course?
Yep.
And that's, I mean, income for them is what I'm looking at.
So we have, I mean, like Lake Kiowa has that situation.
Right.
They require, they take water out of the lake to irrigate their golf course, and they're required to put water back into it. That's a permit through the state. We can't control that. That overrides us. It's like,
But they're using surface water, not groundwater,
they're using surface water to irrigate their golf course, but
Yeah.
they're using well water to refill the
to
water. back in.
backfill the lake. Yeah, that's
That's a permit.
a problem, yeah.
I mean, all our golf courses do that.
But, yeah. But that's what we're trying to do. I mean, nobody can tell you that they're going to put a pond in now and tell you you're not going to change the use of it at some point. And we really have no control of what they're going to use it for, except that's what we're trying to slow down. And
It's
that's
gonna
all
be
it's
hard
about.
enough to police anyway. 'Cause,
It is.
You know,
It is. It's
how many
so
people gonna
basically-
come to you and tell you it's gonna be a vanity pond?
Especially when they come in, the architects, it's like, it's just normal to put one in for an architect anymore in that area. It's like they can't sell property if they don't have a vanity pond out front.
But they're also using it as a retention pond.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them are, but some of them say they are, but there's no way water can run into them because the elevation of them's higher than,
But that ought to be in their
We've had a few of those,
subdivision
too.
plan that,
we've had a few of those we've had to fight with. They're just detention ponds.
Yeah.
Well, they put like I said, 8 or 10 inch casing in it and pump water into it all the time. But there's no place for the detention water to go to because it's just run over the dam. But that's what we're trying to slow down.
Okay, anybody else have any comments on, item number 12 passes 4-1.
Thank y'all very much. I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you, Ryan.
Good to see you, Ronnie. Take care. Ronnie, are you ours now for the county? Besides being president?
What's that?
You're our representative for the county.
Yes, I'm the
Besides being the president?
Small water systems representative. I have been since 2009 when we started the district started. I'm fixing to complete my last term in May, which I think they're supposed to have contact y'all about trying to replace me. So I've been president for six of the 16 years been in place.
But they're still rotating that, right? Every 2 or 3 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just, a lot of y'all don't know about this, so you don't mind? I'll tell you.
No, go right ahead.
So, the district was set up in 2009 with Cooke, Collin, and Denton County. And it's basically, all we're there is to control the wells that are being drilled in the area and make sure they're drilled correctly, and that we know that they're not impeding on somebody else's well. The district was made up of, each county had 3 people on the board, one from the highest water user, which in case is Denton, Gainesville, and the Colony. And then one of the smaller, any water systems, all the other water systems that are in the county could put a person up, which I was, for Cooke County, I was drafted to do that. And then we have an at-large person that can be anybody in the county that the commissioners put up to serve. And so they're 4-year terms. And so that's kind of the way the thing is set up. It's really set up really well. It's worked really well. We've had some really good directors through the 16 years it's been there. And we initially hired GTUA to do to be our general manager and do all of our paperwork and bookkeeping, which kept us from having to build an office and hire our own general manager. So it made everything a lot cheaper to do it. And so it's been run really well, and I think everybody's done a really good job of keeping the costs down as much as possible. We do have rules in place that we, of course, they're looked at constantly. Annually they can be made changes to, but we make changes to them to try to we have 3 people that go out and inspect wells. And they go and check meters to make sure that people are turning the right amount of usage that they're having every month. And so they check like 10% of the wells out there. We have 3,560 wells in the 3-county area right now that we actually go and check. We know that's not all the wells, but it's all the main wells. We still have, so that's made up of exempt and non-exempt. Non-exempt would be cities, water districts, MUDs, that type of thing. And everybody else is like homeowners, the farms, ranches that are out there. Those are exempt wells as long as they're under 17.5 gallons a minute. So we basically just to control and try to protect those other wells. That's what we do. The big systems are charged 10 cents per 1,000 gallons of water that they use for every 1,000 gallons. And that's generally passed on to their customers most of the time. But that's how we get our financing. The board's doesn't get paid. It's we just have the GTUA doing all of our paperwork and our general managers, everything. So we're also members of the Groundwater Management Area 8, which is basically everything that's included in over the Trinity River watershed. And that basically we have to have what we call desired future conditions of the aquifers. So we set up. That's where our main money we've spent has been for hydrogeological stuff to make sure where the wells, where the aquifer's at, how it's been drafted out, how we can make it last as long as possible. And so we give permits out that allow, we have a maximum number of gallons we can give out, but we have permits that we give out to each well that says they can pump based on what their expected usage is or what their free usage that they've already done before. And so we can try to keep the aquifer in place as long as possible. We do a 50-year plan. Every 5 years it's redone again. It's changed, redone. The hydrogeological, I guess, computer work and stuff has gotten better every year. It's like any other computer, just kind of every 3 months it's like all brand new again type of thing. So they've gotten a lot better with what the information we're getting as far as to how we can make the water last as long as possible. That's why I wanted to get involved when I finally did, because I think everybody, the groundwater is the best thing we've got. People don't realize until they don't have it how good the groundwater is. I mean, most of the stuff you find bottled out there is groundwater. It's spring water. It's the stuff that has minerals in it that's good for everybody. And so we want to make it last as long as possible. So that's kind of real broad brush what we do.
And I understood you correctly, the SUDs are exempt.
No, they're not exempt.
From you guys, they're not exempt?
No.
Okay.
Anybody, basically, any big wells are not exempt.
Has there ever been any talk about using Ray Roberts, for instance, for surface water?
Probably never will be.
I mean,
No.
Dallas and Denton do now.
Dallas and Denton own the water, back
Right.
when they started working on Denton, on the Roberts Lake, Cooke County had a possibility of getting involved with it, and they decided not to. I think the city of Gainesville was the one that had the possibility, and they didn't do it. They putting all their money on Moss Lake, so
Right.
and there's enough to last a long time there, because I don't know how deep it is, but it's a very, very deep lake, and so there's a lot of water there. That's what they use. We do have, I know Gainesville, and I know Lake Kiowa, I was involved. We got permits to get water out of Lake Texoma.
Also.
And so they have it, we all have a lot of acre foot of water we could use. It's just the problem of getting it to us. There's places to treat it already set in place, and it could be added to as far as treating the water, but you still have to get the pipeline to, I think they talked about they're bringing the pipeline to 82 and then splitting it, coming to Gainesville, going down 377 to hit all the Lake Kiowa, all the Woodbine, everything going that way. So it's a possibility that if we had a problem with the well water, that we do have a backup in place that can be used. So.
You know, there's a facility up on the river, I'm sure you're aware of that, that long ago used to send Red River water down to Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And they had to quit that because it was too
Salty.
salty.
Yeah.
But
54, they had the drought. 55,
Yeah.
they started sending water down to Dallas. So it's, yeah, there is a plant now, there's a, I can't remember the name of the system. There's a system up there now that has the water that they treat already out of Texoma. It's very salty. Of course, on this end, it's more salty than it is as you get east. So they have to do microfiltration and then reverse osmosis to the water to make it usable, which is both very costly, but it's better than nothing if it's all you got. So it may come down to that someday, but we're trying to make the groundwater last as long as we can to keep that from having to be a problem.
who's gonna be your replacement?
Y'all get to.
We do.
Y'all get to, yeah.
It's not an internal thing.
When I was drafted, I think they got a bunch of the water systems together and started asking for people if they would run. I got, like I said, that was the first politics I ever got into because I never was, but I got drafted to actually be on this. And so I had basically run against 3 other people and they voted me into the position. So I don't know if that'll happen again. That's possible, but I don't know who would get in control of all those systems. But otherwise, ultimately, the Commissioners Court is the ones that put the placements in place.
We had 2 originally, well, there were 3.
3.
You and
Ron Selman
Kenny,
and
Clements, Kenny
yeah,
Clements.
Kenny. Yeah, that was the 3
What's the 3 originally from
Yes.
here? I
Yeah.
can remember that.
Yep. And so now it's just myself and let's see, it's McDonald's out of Gainesville took Ron Selman's place, and then Kenny's brother.
That's what I was asking. Your position as the leader of the
District.
of the I guess you're the head of the board.
Yes, I am now.
Okay, do we get to pick that, or is that an internal thing?
No, it's internal. So it rotates. So
Okay.
every county gets 2 years. So it goes in alphabetical order, starting Collin County, Cooke County, and then Denton County.
And
So
we
next-
did that so the larger counties couldn't.
Couldn't overdo anything. It was the district was set up really well. It honestly was. People put a lot of thought into it, and it's worked out just like it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And appreciate your service.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you,
you.
Ronnie.
Yep.
We already mentioned that, okay. At this time, item number 13, executive session in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Does anybody need executive session?
Yes.
You do. Very well. I'll continue. Chapter 551, Government Code, Vernon's Code, or Texas Codes annotated. Consultation with an attorney regarding proposed actions and advice to the court, real property issues, contract being negotiated, and any personnel matters. Okay. With that, could I ask that we clear the courtroom then and We'll reconvene at 12:19. Item number 14, deliberate and consider possible action regarding consultation with attorney regarding proposed actions and advice to the court, real property contract being negotiated or any personnel matters. And that will be no action.
Do we want to make a motion to authorize somebody to go do the budget amendments?
Which
So we
one?
can take an action 2 weeks down the road?
Do what now?
Can we do that on the next deal? Is that where you want to do that?
Yeah.
We got one more deal on here.
Yeah. One more deal on what?
We got the next item on there.
Yeah. Okay, item number 15, okay, 14 was no action. Item number 15, deliberate and consider possible action regarding an alternative communication link between Cooke County and Denton County Sheriff's offices.
Again, that's what I'm.
No.
Say again?
I think we need to go out for,
We got both of them.
We gotta get it-
Based off of Bible.
right,
So, but before we reach back out to these people, we're gonna have to do a budget amendment. And
we're gonna have to bring it back to the court, right? So we need to bring a budget amendment to the court for the next meeting.
well, somebody needs to get the budget amendment timed out to have it come to it.
Yeah. For this communication link between Cooke County and Denton County Sheriffs.
That's what I would do. If we can't do anything, and we don't reach out to the contractor, to send us a contract until we.
Till we have the budget.
We
So-
can't approve the budget, amendment, we can get it in the works and have it in the next quarter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we need to bring that budget amendment to the next court on this item.
That's good.
Is that right? I make that motion.
Okay, you want to restate your motion there?
I make the motion that we go to bring it back as a budget amendment item to go out for the alternative communication link between Cooke County and Denton County Sheriff's Office for the installation of this.
What are you saying, so that the ball can get
So the ball can get rolling.
So that,
Okay, you don't want to put a price with that or anything like that?
No.
Okay. You need, did you get the motion
is
back?
that gonna work?
That's what he wants it to say. He didn't say anything about it.
The budget amendment, I just want to be sure.
You're gonna be able to negotiate.
I want to bring this to, as a budget amendment item to the court to where we can negotiate and figure out what we need to do.
But if the court's okay with it, I'll be sure that we get the budget.
Okay.
No, I think Adam's right there. I just need a second. You want to bring it back next week so we can,
Bring it back with a budget amendment.
With a budget amendment.
yes.
Second.
We have a motion, Commissioner Hollowell to second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 16.
Do we want to, y'all want to do the other one while we're at it? Bring a budget amendment back for it?
Do I know?
We'll bring a budget amendment back on the train one?
Oh. Yeah,
That cost you a penny?
yeah, you did make my brain hurt. I'll make a motion. I remember what we need to do on that one.
Is this on 15 also?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
After executive. Oh, wait a minute, we don't have it on there, do we?
we don't have it on
Not
there.
on there.
But you can still bring it in as a budget amendment. One of us
Yes,
can.
yeah, okay.
We don't need a motion or
We
anything on
can't
it.
take action on that one.
Right.
Just
Okay.
put it on the agenda.
Go on the next agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, we can still have the budget amendment prepared, just have to approve it.
Sure. And then it can be in discussion how we're going to do it.
Exactly.
And it doesn't even really need to be a budget amendment because there's money budgeted for that building. We just need to do a PO. Yeah. Yeah.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Commissioner Hart, second. Commissioner Snuggs, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Motion passes 5-0, and we are adjourned at
We clear?